Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. We have a B175 video today, back on with Peter's garden find B175. It's been a while since I've made a video. Things have been going on in the background. The wheels have gone away to be rebuilt, and I've been working on the brakes and things like that. So we're going to see some of that today. So yeah, make some progress on Peter's bike and hopefully move it a little step closer to getting back out on the road. Apologies for, the videos are quite few and far between at the moment. Unfortunately, quite a lot going on in the day job and, life in general, really. So, same old excuse. It's always the same, have to make a living and, lots going on. So, but I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're new to the channel, you've, just subscribed or you've just come along, just found us, welcome to the channel. And to those of you who've been with me for quite some time now, thank you very much indeed for sticking with me. Right, let's go and do some work, have a look at Peter's bike and see what we can achieve. Back at the bench then, you can see some plastic bags containing something. We'll have a look at those in a minute. You can see the D3 engine that I picked up the other week, sitting there at a jaunty angle, making it look like a BSA Bantam engine showroom or something. I don't know. Anyway, what's been going on? All sorts of stuff, really. Hopefully you can see the milling machine there. Made a start on fitting the DRO kit. So I've got the front scale fitted, and that's as far as I've got. That's fitted and it works. Little scale reading head there, staying still as the scale moves past it. We've got a little angle bracket under here, connecting it to the area where the Y-axis wiper fits. So that's nice and solid. And then I've got some standoff bobbins, I suppose you would call them, turned out of aluminium bar, spacing this out so that I could still use the stops, the original X-axis stops. Where's the bracket? There it is. So that's the X-axis stop that goes on there like that. A couple of screws that hold it on, and the two stops themselves will still fit in there. And I'm going to make some hexagon-headed locking bolts for the axis lock, and then you just an axis down there with a spanner just to lock it off. Very much in the same manner as Double Boost Mr. Mills did with his mill. If you watch his channel, quite a good few years ago, he did a very similar fit to his machine. So yeah, I'm kind of going along the same lines, really. It's all been done before, hasn't it? We're breaking no new ground. It's just a matter of getting it done and trying to retain as many of the original features of the machine as we can. Probably going to lose the Y-axis stops because the scale has to basically go where they are. Yeah, on this side you've got the knee casting, so you can't really put it on this side. One of those things. We'll see how we get on. Anyway, video's not about the milling machine, so I just thought I'd show you what we've been getting on with. So we've got those bags on the bench that we'll have a look at. And down here we've got Peter's B175 frame. The wheels are away at the moment, they're getting done, so we need to do some work to this. So today the bits that I've got on the bench are the brakes. We're going to have a look at the brakes. We're going to have a look at the frame, hopefully in this video if we get to it. First things first, I want to strip the old wiring loom, which is still fitted to the bike. Is a fairly deplorable condition from almost 50 years sitting outside, but that's all going to come off because we'll be making a new loom to suit the new electrical system that we're fitted. So that'll be going, and then I'm going to give it a really good clean. I think I'm going to probably use some of my favourite bike cleaner on it and give it a really good blast outside and get all the years of accumulated hedge and garden and whatever else is all over it. Obviously, it's very rusty, but we'll deal with that. further down the road, we're not going to tart it up or anything like that. We are going to try to keep it, you know, as much as it is as possible. That's the plan at the moment, at least. So we need to see what needs to be, you know, what is desperately in need of attention and what can be sort of cleaned up, made to look the best it can, and left with its age, patina, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to do a little bit of that, hopefully, in this video, if we get around to it. And then also over here, let me move you again. Dodgy cameras are us. Over here, we've got this seat base. Now, this is a seat base that was donated to me from a viewer. He sent me 2 seats. One of them's on my D7. This is the other one. And it came with this seat cover and squab foam. Let's call it foam. It came with this foam and this seat cover. Yeah, it's a bit old and a bit crusty, so we've taken that off. But the base, that's the thing. The base needs a bit of work. They always do. They always go in exactly the same place around the mounting points, because obviously that's where the leverage is. So we've got cracks here. Someone's repaired it before. They've welded new captive bolts in. It's gone again here, look. So that needs to come out, be cleaned up. And then at the front here, where the front mounting is, it's all nasty. We need to grind all this back, see what we can do with it, because Peter wants to get it recovered, and I can't in all conscience let him spend his money on something that's not worth spending money on. So if I can't do anything with it, then we'll look for a better one. But I'd like to use this one, because 1, it was donated to me, and 2, I would like to sort of pay it forward and donate it to Peter. But here, on this area where the front mounting was, with this reinforcing plate, I've had to pull this off. It's got a bit bent in the process. But this was, you know, someone's had a go at repairing it in the past. Fair play to them. It's lasted and they've done the best. It was held on. It was tack welded in places. There was some sort of glue. There was body filler, and there was 3 little sheet metal screws as well. So they didn't intend it to come off, but it had to come off, because unfortunately the cracking's just going to, eventually this whole piece is just going to come out and the seat will detach. So we're going to have a bit of a look at that as well. See if we can get it all cleaned up, have a go at gluing it with sparks, see what happens. Yeah, watch this space. If I do some welding, I probably won't show it on camera, because it makes the camera go funny. It completely makes the camera go weird when you show welding. I don't know why. Must need some sort of lens or filter. It makes the picture go all sort of hazy and fuzzy. A bit like when you used to put a magnet near an old television. Anyway, yeah, that's what it does. So probably won't show any welding, just the aftermath. The aftermath and the disgrace and the despair. Right, anyway. So, brakes. Put the gloves on because they're pretty grotty. In one bag we've got the front brake and bits. In the other bag we've got the rear brake and bits. Excuse my voice for a bit of I don't know what's going on. Hay fever, I think. Might be hay fever. Always seems to be something, doesn't it? So here's the front brake plate. Look, you can see, obviously standing outside all those years, not in great order. There's the brake pivot. There's a wheel nut of one of the axle nuts. Come here. You know, pretty grotty, but all in all, not too bad. We're going to get a new set of brake shoes. Well, we're going to get 2 new sets of brake shoes. Stand by 1 minute. I'm just going to wipe my nose. You don't need to. Sorry about that. Where was I? Oh yeah, new brake shoes. So Ian at In the Shed. In the Shed is a YouTube channel. If you've not come across it, he's over in Norfolk and he does British bike restoration. Not just British bike. He's done some Japanese stuff as well. But good channel. Go and have a look. Ian's a top bloke and he turns out a really tidy bike. Anyway, he uses there's a new range that Girling do, the Girling Classic range of brake shoes. And I was going to get these relined because they blast them all up, they look like new, and they put new linings on. That's the people that I use anyway. And, you know, they do a pretty good job. But why am I going to get new ones? Well, you get new springs when you get the new ones. I think, you know, these have been sitting outside for a long, long time. And safety first and all that. Let's get some new shoes with new springs. Yeah, make sure that it all goes back together and it's safe for Peter to ride. And, you know, if at some point he doesn't like the linings or he doesn't feel as though they're soft enough or anything, he can get them relined. But let's get some nice new ones that we know the condition of, because these are pretty flaky. Yeah. That's the thing, I think. That's what we'll do. So, take these off. We'll give all this a really good clean up, free all this off, and we've got the spindle, axle, whatever you want to call it, with a bearing on it. We'll take the bearing off because we'll be replacing that. Clean all these bits up. It's a circlip that holds the bearing. It's got a bit out of shape. We'll maybe try and get another one of those. Pivot lever, nut. And then on the rears, pretty much the same deal. We've got back brake plate. This didn't have as much corrosion and water and everything in it. So you can see that the shoes look, you know, a fair bit better. But we'll replace them. You can see the springs are particularly rusted. They would go again with a bit of a wire brush, but, you know, if we get new ones, we might as well use them. Degrease. It's not seized. That's good news, isn't it? Can't remember on the front one. I don't think the front one's seized either. Can't remember. But it might be. Yes, I think the front one is seized, but the back one isn't. But we'll soon free them off. Good clean up. Same old thing with the spindle and the bearing. Bearing still rotates. There's the spacer there on the rear for the bearing. You'll notice there isn't one on the front. Speedometer drive with the spacer. Lots of dirty, horrible, dead grease in there, but it'll clean up, it'll work. Bit of the cable stuck in there that we've got to get out. Obviously the cable had broken at some point. We've never bothered changing it because that's the broken end of cable in there. Doesn't happen by, you know, just standing in the garden. That's happened when he's been riding it. Previous owner. And then we've got the chain adjusters and other various nuts and oily bits in there. So I'm going to set to get these apart, and we will take them over to the degreaser and give them a good scrub. Right, front brake plate in the vise. Got the horrible rubbish. Don't ever buy them soft jaws in. I need to make some proper soft jaws. I've got those in there, just so that we don't put vice marks in the brake torque arm. These are pretty stiff. Normally you can just grab them and pull them off, but these are pretty stiff. That's going to come though. Let's see if we can get that off without everything disintegrating all over the place. Right, you don't want to drop them on the floor. There we go. That one's quite stuck in there as well. Just come around you. Obviously being careful with the material because they're from the 1970s and we don't know what's in there. There we go. There we go. One set of shoes removed. Yeah, that's pretty solid in there. See if we can't persuade it to move. What we need is a big knuckle breaker. Let's put that on there. Oh dear me. Now that's going to need a gentle bit of persuasion with some heat and some penetrating oil, but we will prevail. Right, let's do the other one. So I'm keeping all the bits separately so we don't get them all muddled up. One of those bits back in the bag. Just making sure my microphone's still on. The batteries haven't gone flat. There we go. Okay. Brake shoes removed. So the next stage is to try and free off this, this pivot. I'm just going to get some squirty stuff in there. See if we can do anything with it. And this, so the front wheel was the one that was obviously, it must have been sticking out of the tarp or something, because it had received a lion's share of the hammer from the weather. No, that's absolutely solid. So we'll let that soak for a bit. Put a little bit more on, let it soak for a bit, and then I think it's probably going to be, we'll have to get the gas out and persuade it a little bit more. Right, giving these a bit of a scrub. Now I mentioned about the camera microphone, the microphone batteries. Guess what? This is my second time recording this clip because the microphone receiver battery went flat. Can you believe it? Well, with me you can. Too many things to have to remember to charge up. But they've come up really nice. Look at the original paint on there. Yeah, it's looking quite good. Even the original sticker look on the, you probably can't see it with the light flare, but original sticker on the speedometer drive telling you how often to put grease in it. That's pretty cool. Anyway, everything's a lot cleaner than it was. So we need to get some bits on the buffing wheel now. Get them finished off. Ready to fit. And I think with this, I'm not entirely sure with the rusty bits. They're not that bad, to be honest with you. I tend to go over things with a brass wire brush while they're in the parts washer. It doesn't scratch anything, it just gives everything a little bit of a polish. And for really stubborn dirt, it's ideal. So, recommendation there for you: a little brass wire brush to supplement your bristle brush. I think what I might do with the sort of patinaed, shall we say, parts is try some of that preservation oil that a fella off the telly is always going on about. What's his name? Old Dominic Chimney. Yeah. He recommends a sort of a preservation oil that keeps rusted parts, prevents them from rusting anymore, but protects them at the same time. So I might give that a go. We'll see. Depends on what Peter wants to do with his bike. But that might be an option. I think Tweedy might have tried some of it. Probably give him a ring and ask him and see what it's like. Right. I think the next stage is to get that lot out of there and do the front brake components. But we'll have to get the gas out, won't we, to get the brake pivot freed, brake cam freed on the front brake plate. So we'll do that next, shall we? Let's go over to the bench. got quite well, it's a fairly hot flame, more of a warming flame really, I suppose. Well, you wouldn't want it on your hand, let's go that way. But it isn't as intense as the torch can provide, because we don't want to damage anything. There's lots of old grease bubbling out of the grease nipple on the end of the pivot. This little torch set's an absolute gift, really. It's really, really good. Somebody asked me, I think, I've been in the comments, I'm not entirely sure, about how much it costs rather to set this torch set up. I think, if I remember rightly, I think I got the torch set, which comes with the regulators, the bottles, and the pipes and everything, hoses. It costs about just over £200, I think. And then obviously the bottles cost, well, whatever bottles cost really. I use the sort of patio gas size propane, which you have to rent the bottle. I think renting the bottle is about 60 quid plus the fill. And then the Hobby Weld oxygen. You can find a Hobby Weld depot near you. The Hobby Weld oxygen, you pay a one-off charge for the bottle, and then you just exchange them. I think it probably costs about $3.50 in total to set up. But very, very useful. That's starting to move. Oh yeah. Right, I'll give it a bit more, then we'll move to knock it out. Let me just knock you there. Well, I've got it in the vise with a great big socket behind it. Not particularly straight, has to be said. I've still got my welding gloves on because obviously it's absolutely red as. That looks better. I don't want to bend this. I don't want to bend the back plane. I think if we bashed on it and it was still tight, it would just, we'd end up pushing the boss through the brake plate, and don't want to do that. So hopefully this will work. No, it's not going to go. You can see it flexing. We don't want to do that. It has moved a little bit. You can just see a gap there now. See, it's smoking because I sprayed some penetrating oil on it. So I think it's going to be a case of just repeating that process, heating it up, spraying it, moving it a little bit until we get it out. Because if we put lots of force on it and try and force it out, this is going to be, the back plate is going to be the thing that gives, which will, it won't profit us at all, will it? If we do that, we'll end up having to look for another one. We don't want that. The whole point is to preserve, not to destroy. So yeah, I'm just going to keep at that, and eventually I think a little bit at a time we'll get that free. Okay, I shall bring you back when I've had a bit more. Well, it yielded a couple more applications of heat and just a good sort of wiggle around with the adjustable spanner, and it eventually gave way. So there it is. There's the cam. That needs a bit of a clean up. But yeah, no damage done, which is always good. We can carry on now and get all these bits washed off, and we can move on from there. I've got all the other bits, the bits that we did previously for the rear brake. over there on the bench. So they've all dried off. Just need a good go on the, well, the ones that are rusty need to go on the buffing wheel. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So nothing wrong with that either. I need to pluck out the, tell you what, let's try and do that now. See if we can pluck that bit of old cable out. Let's grab a scriber and see if we can hook it out. Oh yeah, making sure you can see what's going on. Oh yeah, it's going to come. There it is. That's good. So that's ready to go again now, that. It does work. It's obviously devoid of grease at the moment, so it's a bit noisy. Once it's been repacked, it'll be fine. I don't know if you can see that going round. Good. Okay, more washing for me then. So I shall get my rubber gloves back on and get back in the degreasing bath. Well, I won't get in there myself, obviously, that would be foolish. But I'll get the parts in there and I'll give them a good scrub. See you in a few minutes. Right, I've done the washing. I've done the washing up. You'll be glad to know. So all those bits have been washed off in the degreaser, and they now need to go on the buffing wheel. But I imagine that if I was to have the camera running whilst I stood for an hour operating the buffing wheel, you would probably be a bit bored. So we won't do that. I'll do that off camera. By the buffing wheel, I mean the wire wheel. So yeah, I will do that bit off camera, and we will turn our attention to this beastie over here. So as you can see, it is up on the workmate, on the Deccan Blacker, as my grandma used to call it. Used to mix words up like that. You had Deccan Blacker instead of Black and Decker. You had Black and Crosswell instead of Cross and Blackwell. Various others. That's just how she did things. God rest her. We miss her, and we miss Grandad as well. But yes, the beastie is up there. It's ratchet strapped down. It wanted to fall off at absolutely every opportunity. It wanted to do me damage and harm, but it is now suitably restrained so that we can move on to the next step. The next step being removing the headlamp, removing the wiring loom, because it is past its best. I'm sure there's probably one or two good wires left in there, but we're not going to take the chance. Originality can only go so far, and a wiring loom that's been standing outside for almost 50 years will invariably be problematic. Even if we changed all the connectors on the ends, we would have duff conductors and all kinds of problems stored up for the future. So we don't do that here. It gets a new wiring loom, purpose made for the job, as simple as possible. A component part of the bike, so something that can be removed as a component rather than wrapped around things and threaded through things. That's how I like to do it. And we want it so that when he wants to start his bike and he wants to put his headlamps on and he wants to press his horn, all those things do function as advertised. So we're going to dump the old wiring loom. Well, we're going to remove it from the bike, the old rectifier, horn, all that kind of stuff. And, that will help us with our strip down. I think we'll then move on to removing the front forks and the rear swinging arm and, well, there isn't a front swinging arm, is there? Let's be honest. The swinging arm, and then everything can have a really good clean. We'll take the frame outside, give it a good blast down with some bike cleaner to get all the filth off of it. Ditto with the bits that we remove. So, yeah, enough talk, bit more do. I shall gather some. Okie doke. Flat blade screwdriver then. Remove the headlamp. Switches feel a bit, well, they're hardly going to be good after all that time in the weather. I've got a padded box ready for the headlamp so we don't break it, because there's nothing wrong with the reflector as far as I can see. Maybe there is, actually. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt at the moment. Okay. Make sure there's no creatures going to leap out at us. So, yeah, everything's pretty crusty. With the headlamp wires. Now, they don't want to come off. We'll just take the bulb holder off. The pilot bulb. They're going to come out. It's corroded in. Lots of powdery stuff. Right, we'll put the headlamp in there. In the box, out of the way. I'm sorry that I'm getting in your way. Not a great deal I can really do about it. What was that? Oh, that was the... Oops! That was the clip for the headlamp. It's all happening today. That was the clip for the headlamp. Disconnect the Y-pack sockets from the switches. Pretty green, as you probably imagine. Speedometer cable and speedometer illumination. Oh, it's stuck as well. That's rusted in, I think. It's come out. Pretty grotty, but it has come out. We've got a bulb in it, although it's a blown bulb, it's completely black. So his illumination for his speedometer wasn't working last time he was riding this bike. Speedometer cable liberated. Then we can just pull the rubber. Chuck that little bulb in there, pull the rubber out the bottom of the headlamp and get the wiring loom out. Oh, that's pretty crusty as well. That's just disintegrating. So we'll need a new one of those. New rubber. I'm sure we can find a grommet or something that will do the job. Try to be a bit careful with this headlamp socket. I don't know why. It's completely goosed. But I don't like to destroy things any more than they already are, you know. It's just my way, I suppose. There we go. We can do some disconnecting here. We've got the wires coming in from the handlebar switch, which is a Y-pack Ducon type switch. And I can pull all of these out. Separate one loom from the other. I'm just going to cut that rubber bung because it's completely perished. We're going to have to find another one. Where are we though, actually? Oh yeah, it is, it's completely gone. There we go. Decision made. Definitely finding another one now because I've just chopped it in half. There's the earth lead, transparent earth lead on these things. And it's disappearing into the main loom. Right, so we need to do some one more disconnect. If we can get that out of there, no, I think we're just going to have to cut it. There we go. That's the main wiring loom, separated from handlebar switch loom. They've been together a long time, they don't want to part company. They've known each other for over 50 years. So, just check that you can see in there. I may have to bring the camera in a little bit. Hope you saw a fair bit of that. Maybe you didn't. Maybe my big noggin was in the way for the whole time. Right, so speedometer there, look, there's our two Y-pack switches that feel pretty ropey, to be honest with you. I wonder if the speedo still works. You might be able to test that with the length of speedo cable and a battery drill. It'd be amazing if it did still work, because there's lots of rust and crust when you look through the lens at the top. But it'd be nice to keep it, because it's got the original mileage for the bike on there. So if there was a means of cleaning it up, then I think it would be worth it, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's that bit done. We need to move further down the bike and do a bit more. Let me move you. Okay, I've moved you as best I can. I'll try not to kick the camera again, but it may happen. You just never know. So, where were we? We just liberated this lot from the headlamp. There's the sockets. And now we're along the top tube, and we found the earth bonding point, the main earth bonding point, with the transparent cables all massed together there on a ring terminal. This subframe bolt is already loose, because Peter would have undone it to remove the tank. So that's a simple matter of getting the terminal off, and we can just put that back in loosely. I'm not going to remove the subframe at the moment, because I want to repair the mudguard mounts. I need that fitted. So I might leave the springing arm on for a bit as well, until I get the mudguard mounts at least tacked, because they're fractured. They've completely gone through. We might be able to repair them. We might have to try and make some new ones. In fact, I've got an old D7 subframe that's not in the best of conditions. We might be able to liberate new mounts from that. We'll see. Right, digressing ever so slightly there. We've got these aluminium pull-through cable ties, and they've stood the test of time. I'm just going to carefully remove them, because with a Scotch-Brite they'll probably go back. Is that taking it too far? Tell me if I'm going too far, won't you? I don't like plastic cable ties. I don't mind them on, some things, but on old motorbikes they just don't look right. There's another one. That one looks a bit worse for wear, but anyway. What have we got here? We've got the rectum fryer, or rectifier, so called because it's under the seat, and sometimes they used to catch fire, hence why it's a rectum fryer. So we'll leave that attached. We've got cables going down to the stop lamp, not attached to the main loom, so we can leave them there until we remove the stop lamp switch. We've got cables going to the horn. I think that's about all you get for your money with a wiring loom. There you go. Peter, you can hang that above the mantelpiece. A nice feature. And keep that for you. I'm sure that you'll be able to do something artistic with that. A few more wires just sort of dangling. I think these must have been for What colours have we got? We've got red, bullet on one end, ring on the other. That would have been for the backlight, I think. And then we've just got, what's this here? The HT lead from when the coil was removed. I've still got the plug cap on here. I've still got the Lodge plug boot with a little metal, almost like a Jubilee clip, holding it together. Don't see things like that anymore. That can go on the pile with the rest of the wiring harness. And then, tell you what, we will pull the plug out of the stop lamp switch. Then let's grab something to do that with. Switch you off and move you. Don't know if you'll pick this up. The camera's probably not in the best of positions, but it's about as close as I can get you at the moment. This is the stop lamp switch down here. I've got the light shining on it. Is that helping at all? Perhaps that's better. Anyway, oops. This is the stop lamp switch right here. I'm just going to just pull the wires out of it. If I can. Yeah, maybe not. That probably quite badly corroded in. Let's move the mud guard out, the chain guard out of the way. Oh, they are coming. Yep, they're out. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Pretty green. But they're still available. Replica ones. And not particularly expensive, so we should be alright. Right, I'm just going to plump that back in there. Just to keep it from being underfoot. And that's it. The wiring loom has been removed. There's the horn. Let's just bring you back round again. We'll leave the horn in situ for now.